By the way, I wanted to address something real quick, just in case you were wondering. If you ever see me with this knife over here that I'll show you on my belt. First of all, it's a Delta knife. Yes, I'm aware of that. Second of all, I've never hurt anybody with it. I don't plan on it. Third of all, I carry it around not only as a tool, but also as a friendly reminder that I have a circumcision. I know that might seem silly to some people, but let me start. I accidentally paused the video. What I was saying is I also carry this as a reminder that I have a circumcision. And I know that might seem silly, but I was brought up told that circumcisions are normal and don't really cause like serious side effects, especially for your mind. I was told it's a good thing and it helps, but it turns out that apparently in some cases, and my theory is in most cases, if not all, it you can live with it, but it's harmful and it causes I think it can contribute to causing mental illnesses, especially, and cause them directly. And that sometimes people who have these issues, especially when they're predisposed to other things, sometimes we forget that we have disabilities, and that that the circumcision is part of the law of physics, where every action has an opposite and equal reaction. And I've worked really hard to be more mindful of my actions, but sometimes I still react before I can gain control over my actions because of a lack of education and lifetime practice. I did do my best on my own with what I had, which was pretty good, but unfortunately that's not good enough in these situations. I need a reminder. And also, the other thing is, and this might sound weird, but kind of one of my whole points about this is if you're going to do harm to someone, if you're going to do a significant amount of harm to someone and lie to them about it and profit off of it, you should probably not torture them about it. You should probably not drag it out and make it their whole life. You should probably just, if you're going to react that strongly, you should probably just be respectful and take their life in the first place and then deal with the consequences. Which is also my point about the SWAT raid. Another reason why I carry a knife, because it reminds me that I don't need to be afraid of things that can be seen as weapons. When a bunch of M4s get pointed at me, I tend to wonder what the motives are of these people. And I'm not saying that this would help me protect myself from them in any capacity physically, or anyone, frankly. I'm not claiming that this is for self-defense. I'm claiming that it's for spiritual purposes. And if you can't accept that, then you don't understand what America is for. My circumcision was done not under the premise of spiritual purposes. It was done under the precedent that it was the norm and that it was medically and socially beneficial, not to mention sexually beneficial. But what I learned is that not everyone agrees about that, and I don't think it's beneficial, personally. Once again, I think there may be special occasions that may call for it, or especially with religious context, because self-flagellation is still a thing. People self-flagellate, but when it's their own decision and they've taken a long time to think about it, or at least enough time to think about it, whereas I had none, then it can be possibly beneficial if it's for your own spiritual purposes and you've thought about it for a long time. But even then, aren't you just trying to get closer to God to leave this earth, basically? I mean, so this is my reminder to stay grounded. And as long as I handle it with care, it is a positive thing. It keeps me calm, and it keeps me from overreacting, because when I remember that I have this, I remember that I don't have to overreact. Now, is it fail safe? Probably not. It's probably not. I would also like to once again get back into a place in society where people don't overreact to me and try to harm me just because they're selfish and possibly misinformed. And I would like to be able to carry a firearm on me at all times, if not two. Not that I would like to have to. I don't want to live in a place where I have to carry firearms to defend myself. Once again, I don't want to have to shoot anybody, but it does keep me calmer the time that I've had firearms, I felt very calm and I felt very stable. That's how I felt. I know that there's more to it than that. The people around me and their opinions matter, but they don't necessarily define, they might try to, but they don't necessarily define what's actually going on with me. They might define a certain part of the narrative and the actions that are taken against me or for me even. It's not all bad, is it? If it is, I think we maybe should move on. In that case, I do think being closer to God as possible is important. But I was under the impression that I was put on this planet for a reason, other than just to be tortured for the entertainment of others. So I'd like to still try to fulfill that if I can before I leave this earth.